in a good tune, there was lot of participation. Now this participation made these kirtans very popular. Now these kirtans are not popular because nobody is having this kind of thing. If at all, there is Mata Ki Chauki, devotional songs. So there is not much participation. It was the participation I am talking of long ago when the kirtans were very popular. I remember in Simla, I remember in Delhi, they were very popular. Every 1 week, the kirtan will take place in somebody's house and by rotation. Now, Americans or Westerners, they found that participation creates great love for music. So all their success of music depends on participation. They encourage to clap, they encourage to say some words, just like our kids. So therefore, we have to learn. We have to change ourselves by looking at things what are happening. But communication is always very important. What else we have?
We have Abraham Lincoln.
77 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation, or any nation so conceived and so dedicated, can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here, have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here, dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion. That we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
Face and the pause are very visible.
So, is the speech original?
No, I said it is not spoken by Lincoln.
It is a rendition by
another, one of the good speakers. Maybe, I don't know the name.
Jeff Daniel.
What?
Jeff Daniel.
Yes. But he spoke very well. Now we will have the speech which I really like and love by Steve Jobs. What is important is he speaks from the heart. He speaks normally as person to person. He does not, there is not much of modulation or anything of the sort, because his stories are so valid. Whatever he speaks is so impressive that you will love it. So can we play this speech?
Yeah.
Entirely.
Thank you.
I'm honored to be with you today for your commencement from one of the finest.
A little louder, please.
Truth be told, I never graduated from college, and this is the closest I've ever gotten to a college graduation. Today, I want to tell you 3 stories from my life. That's it. No big deal. Just 3 stories. The first story is about connecting the dots. I dropped out of Reed College after the first 6 months, but then stayed around as a drop-in for another 18 months or so before I really quit. So why did I drop out? It started before I was born. My biological mother was a young, unwed graduate student, and she decided to put me up for adoption. She felt very strongly that I should be adopted by college graduates, so everything was all set for me to be adopted at birth by a lawyer and his wife. Except that when I popped out, they decided at the last minute that they really wanted a girl. So my parents, who were on a waiting list, got a call in the middle of the night asking, "We've got an unexpected baby boy. Do you want him?" They said, "Of course." My biological mother found out later that my mother had never graduated from college and that my father had never graduated from high school. She refused to sign the final adoption papers. She only relented a few months later when my parents promised that I would go to college. This was the start in my life. And 17 years later, I did go to college. But I naively chose a college that was almost as expensive as Stanford. And all of my working class parents' savings were being spent on my college tuition. After 6 months, I couldn't see the value in it. I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, and no idea how college was going to help me figure it out. And here I was, spending all the money my parents had saved their entire life. So I decided to drop out and trust that it would all work out okay. It was pretty scary at the time, but looking back, it was one of the best decisions I ever made. The minute I dropped out, I could stop taking the required classes that didn't interest me and begin dropping in on the ones that looked far more interesting. It wasn't all romantic. I didn't have a dorm room, so I slept on the floor in friends' rooms. I returned Coke bottles for the 5-cent deposits to buy food with. And I would walk the 7 miles across town every Sunday night to get one good meal a week at the Hare Krishna temple. I loved it. And much of what I stumbled into by following my curiosity and intuition turned out to be priceless later on. Let me give you one example. Reed College at that time offered perhaps the best calligraphy instruction in the country. Throughout the campus, every poster, every label on every drawer was beautifully hand calligraphed. Because I had dropped out and didn't have to take the normal classes, I decided to take a calligraphy class to learn how to do this. I learned about serif and sans serif typefaces, about varying the amount of space between different letter combinations, about what makes great typography great. It was beautiful, historical, artistically subtle in a way that science can't capture, and I found it fascinating. None of this had even a hope of any practical application in my life. But 10 years later, when we were designing the first Macintosh computer, it all came back to me. And we designed it all into the Mac. It was the first computer with beautiful typography. If I had never dropped in on that single course in college, the Mac would have never had multiple typefaces or proportionally spaced fonts. And since Windows just copied the Mac, it's likely that no personal computer would have them. If I had never dropped out, I would have never dropped in on that calligraphy class, and personal computers might not have the wonderful typography that they do. Of course, it was impossible to connect the dots looking forward when I was in college, but it was very, very clear looking backwards 10 years later. Again, you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. Because believing that the dots will connect down the road will give you the confidence to follow your heart, even when it leads you off the well-worn path, and that will make all the difference. My second story is about love and loss. I was lucky. I found what I loved to do early in life. Woz and I started Apple in my parents' garage when I was 20. We worked hard, and in 10 years, Apple had grown from just the two of us in a garage into a $2 billion company with over 4,000 employees. We just released our finest creation, the Macintosh, a year earlier, and I just turned 30. And then I got fired. How can you get fired from a company you started? Well, as Apple grew, we hired someone who I thought was very talented to run the company with me. And for the first year or so, things went well. But then our visions of the future began to diverge, and eventually we had a falling out. When we did, our board of directors sided with him. And so at 30, I was out, and very publicly out. What had been the focus of my entire adult life was gone, and it was devastating. I really didn't know what to do for a few months. I felt that I had let the previous generation of entrepreneurs down, that I had dropped the baton as it was being passed to me. I met with David Packard and Bob Noyce and tried to apologize for screwing up so badly. I was a very public failure, and I even thought about running away from the valley. But something slowly began to dawn on me. I still loved what I did. The turn of events at Apple had not changed that one bit. I'd been rejected, but I was still in love. And so I decided to start over. I didn't see it then, but it turned out that getting fired from Apple was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. The heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again, less sure about everything. It freed me to enter one of the most creative periods of my life. During the next 5 years, I started a company named Next, another company named Pixar, and fell in love with an amazing woman who would become my wife. Pixar went on to create the world's first computer animated feature film, Toy Story, and is now the most successful animation studio in the world. In a remarkable turn of events, Apple bought Next, and I returned to Apple, and the technology we developed at Next is at the heart of Apple's current renaissance. And Lorene and I have a wonderful family together. I'm pretty sure none of this would have happened if I hadn't been fired from Apple. It was awful tasting medicine, but I guess the patient needed it. Sometimes life's going to hit you in the head with a brick. Don't lose faith. I'm convinced that the only thing that kept me going was that I loved what I did. You've got to find what you love. And that is as true for work as it is for your lovers. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life. And the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking and don't
There are
settle.
lots of lessons of life and of speech. Speech, limited words, but lot of message. So he has delineated the entire life in maybe 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And it has captured our attention. Right? So what are the messages? Let's try to go through it. Yes, what is the message? Yes,
Love what you do.
love what you do or do what you love.
Do what you love.
Yes. Next,
Life is right now.
life is
Right now.
living in present. Yes. What else?
Don't follow dogmas, follow your heart.
Follow your heart. Yes, absolutely. Next,
He said, stay hungry, stay foolish.
very important. Yes.
So, in a sense, he was trying to say, there is need for us to work hard, and hard in the sense of being more creative, innovative, and so many, try to do better than yourself. I mean, better than what you can do.
So
And stay stupid means, in a sense, don't think that you know all. The urge for learning and growth should always be there.
stay hungry, stay foolish in few words. No ego. Pursue knowledge. You don't know enough. So pursue knowledge. Knowledge will only improve you. Have passion for knowledge. And of course, whatever you have said, follow your heart. And because he has demonstrated, he had followed the heart, and whatever has happened for the good. Now, when I look my life also, I was sharing with some of you that when my parents shifted from Delhi to Ludhiana. Ludhiana is a small place, now not so small, in Punjab. So while in Delhi, I was top student of the school. But when we shifted to Ludhiana, so there I should have been admitted in the 8th class, but they tested me. They said he is so good, so you put him in the 9th class. So 9th class also I was very good. I thought, oh, I am so good. I stopped working. Then 10th class I got first class, but first class is meaningless. The other people were far more. So I lost the steam. I lost the steam. I was never a good student again in the college. But in the college then I started debates and I participated in plays. And I think that's why I am here. So it's only, I continued with the speeches, I continued with my plays when I was in Madras. So then voice fascinated me. I did some business in, we had advertising agency, we were producing jingles and commercials. And interestingly at that time, Jagjit Singh was also up and coming. So he was composing and singing my jingles. For how much? 250 rupees. 250 rupees was his fee for composing, and 250 rupees was his fee for singing, and Chitra also another 250. So that's how. But then, as they say, rolling stone gathers no moss. So from advertising, at that time, exports, traveling was a great fashion. So I started a company of t-shirts exports. So traveled a lot, enjoyed, but ultimately could not make money. So could not make money, but was not unhappy. So money is important, but money is not everything. I have seen many moneyed people who are unhappy. So if you follow your heart, for whatever reasons, sometimes you can be wrong. So that's why I think I was totally wrong in following exports. I was doing well in advertising. If I had continued smaller advertising than mine, were merging with some of the biggest names in the world. So, and they had made millions just by merging, because they had created some clients, and I had a wonderful client. But that's what was not to happen. Yes, no regrets, because then, as I said, I have been pursuing this. So I think follow the heart is very important, because according to me, what you carry with you, the balance sheet, is only how many happy moments you have spent here. So every day, if you count in my day, how many happy moments I have spent, and try to improve the number after every day. And I think every one of us can do it. So then there is not supposed to be any anger, there is not supposed to be any fear, there is not supposed to be any hesitation, there is not supposed to be not taking a risk, because taking some calculated risk, not too much, but calculated risk you must take if you want to grow in life. Yes. Now we can have some more exercises,
Yes,
because
I think,
exercises are the thing, unless you have some other ideas. No, you can comment on Steve Jobs' speech because you have all listened. And he has listened 15 minutes. If anybody has anything else to add.
So rather than putting time for someone else's job, why don't you do your own work?